The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Krishna Vedula here from IUCEE, and I am very, very pleased to just begin this webinar today from St. Joseph College of Engineering, St. Joseph Engineering College. And this is the series between the partnerships of institutions. So, as you know, we have this semester had several colleges, institutions of our IUCEE institutions who have been very active with IUCEE and have shown a lot of transformational results. So we asked them to showcase some of their results and transformational results so that other people can get some idea what some of the best practices are. So this is the fourth one from St. Joseph Engineering College. So we have a series of 4 this semester from several colleges. So today we have Mr. Satyendra Bhatt and Ms. Evita Coelho, and both of them presenting successful partnership in our journey towards autonomy. And they're going to tell us their SJEC IUCEE story. And you all have seen the announcement, so you can must have read the information already. And the presenters are Mr. Satyendra Bhatt and Evita Coelho. The third presenter, Mr. Rajesh Raju, is not able to join us today, unfortunately, but we'll be have a great time listening to Satyendra Bhatt and Evita. Okay, so I'm going to give them the screen, and we'll be ready to roll. Okay, Satyendra and Evita, go ahead.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are going to present before you the 4th webinar of this SJEC IUCEE webinar series, and we have named it Successful Partnership in Our Journey Towards Autonomy, and there is a subtitle also which reads SJEC IUCEE Story. So we are going to present this webinar, and today we have 2 presenters from our college, myself, Mr. Satyendra Bhatt, and Ms. Evita Coelho. I am an assistant professor in the Department of Computer Applications, and Ms. Evita is an assistant professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering. As the title of the webinar says, we have partnered with IUCEE in our journey towards autonomy. We are not yet an autonomous institution. We are still affiliated to one of the universities in the state of Karnataka in India. But our journey towards autonomy has been greatly influenced by what has been a successful partnership with IUCEE. Today's webinar is going to relive some of the fond memories that we have had with IUCEE, and we are going to showcase some of them before you. Before we begin today's webinar, I would like to reflect on the previous 3 webinars that we have had as a part of this series. The first webinar was leveraging OBE for quality assurance in an affiliated college, where we spoke about what are the difficulties that an affiliated college has if it has to practice OBE and if it has to go for accreditation, be it NAAC accreditation or NBA. Followed by that first webinar, we had the second webinar, which spoke about OBE deployment and sustainment to develop epistemic curiosity among the students, application of Deming's model, where we spoke about epistemic curiosity is the ability of the students to acquire new knowledge, which is expected to stimulate intellectual interest or eliminate conditions of informational deprivation. So this is a great concept that is being followed in our college, which is an initiative towards student engagement, and most of the faculty have enacted epistemic curiosity. That was the second webinar of this series. And a featured story where we talk about IAECP, which is a pillar of transformation at SJEC. So during this webinar, we spoke about how IAECP has helped SJEC to train it and take it to students, and thereby improving the overall teaching learning process in the college. So after having spoken about these 3 aspects of OBE and IAECP, today we are going to relive some of the associations that we have had with IUCEE through this webinar. To begin with, I would like to say engineering education in India is going through a phase of transition and quite a beautiful. The traditional are being overshadowed by these modern ways of college, one of the only few colleges in this region who have been accredited by NBA, provisionally accredited by NBA during 2013 to 15, re-accredited in 2016 to 2019 cycle, and currently we are accredited under the cycle 2019 to 2022. So this is a matter of great pride to us. We have been NBA accredited during 3 cycles, and we strive to do a lot more under NBA. Currently, we have around 2,400 students studying in the campus. We have around 160 faculty and a support staff of 180, which caters to the needs of everything in the college. This is a aerial view of the college. As you can see, there is a lot of greenery around. At SJEC, we make sure that we nurture greenery and we value nature a lot. That's why we have left a lot of greenery in the campus. It is one thing to have concrete structures and walls full of concrete and a lot of civil engineering work going on, but then we have tried to make sure that greenery is retained and we have a fruitful environment for the students to learn. At SJEC, we believe in a few things. The first one being transformation through outcome-based quality education. The world is talking about outcome-based education, but we have added an additional aspect to it, which is quality, and we call it as OBQE. We try to add quality to whatever we do in the college. We have a dedicated IUCEE cell which works on all these aspects. We reflect quality in the way faculty teach. We reflect quality in the way students learn. And overall, everything in the college has been quality assured is what we would like to say. So we provide transformation through outcome-based quality education. The second thing that we believe in is imbibing discipline through example. It is one thing to say that we are well disciplined and we should do this, we should do that, and all those things. But then we in SJEC believe by leading by example. We give examples and then make sure that the students follow the example set. The faculty, the management, the teaching, the non-teaching staff, whoever it is who is associated with the college, show exemplary discipline, which even rubs off against the students, and they reciprocate, and thereby they also bring in discipline to the college. The next thing that we are proud of and we believe in is keeping human values above technical competence. It is one thing to have technical competence, but what is the use of having technical knowledge or technical know-how without having human values in you? So to inculcate human values in our students, we have introduced a lot of courses to the first year as well as the second year engineering students, where they go through a series of human relations skill drills, where we make them go through a series of case studies and let the students decide which is right and which is wrong. thereby allowing them to learn from their own experiences. So by doing all these things, we have tried to bring in human values to the students, which reflects in them when they come to their higher semesters, when they come to third and fourth year. Along with the technical competence, they also tend to display a lot of human values in them. So which is one thing that we believe in. Now, the next important thing is the NBA accreditation that we have had. We would like to showcase quite a few things about NBA accreditation. We are proud of it, as I have already said. Interestingly, in India, despite having one of the highest number of engineering colleges and millions of engineering graduates graduating each year, barely 15% of colleges across the country are NBA accredited. And St. Joseph Engineering College is one of the early entrants to that list. We believe that NBA accreditation is essential for an engineering college to be identified as an institute conforming to the global standards of technical training. Further, it facilitates the scope of employment of engineering graduates who want to pursue higher education or occupation abroad. Due to these factors, we have stressed the importance of NBA accreditation, and we have made sure that we comply to all these needs, and we have been NBA accredited. As I said in one of the earlier slides, this is the third cycle of NBA accreditation that we have got, and because of NBA accreditation, we become a part of Washington Accord. It provides global recognition of degree for employment to all our students. Unlike the other colleges or other institutes which are not NBA accredited, they have to struggle a lot when they go overseas. It provides international student mobility, which is another advantage of having NBA accreditation. Again, it is a stamp of quality. It make sure that there is a lot of quality that comes out of everything that we do in the college, and it is a stamp of quality in for whatever work we have been doing so far. And the last thing being eligibility for educational loan and other support systems. This is another add-on to being NBA accredited. Our students become eligible for a lot of educational loans and other support systems, which they won't get otherwise. And as I said, we are only affiliated engineering institute in the region to have NBA accreditation for 4 of the UG programs. Our departments of computer science and engineering, electronics and communication engineering, electrical and electronics engineering, and mechanical engineering have been accredited by NBA until 2022. And this is the third cycle of NBA accreditation that we have gone through. We come to the SJEC IUCEE journey, which is what this webinar is mainly about. Our association started in the year 2012. And after 3 years of deliberations and small collaborations, a few small collaborations, we joined IUCEE consortium in the year 2015. So that was the year when we became the part of IUCEE consortium. And since our entry to the consortium, we have been a very active member in all the ventures that IUCEE takes up, be it ICTIE, the annual conference of IUCEE, IIECP, the teaching certification that IUCEE hosts, Cluster for Collaborations, which is another venture that IUCEE has taken up, or IUCEE courses or the virtual academy. We are there everywhere. And we have had several fruitful collaborations since our entry into IUCEE consortium in the year 2015. What we have been doing is the following. With the advent of new technology and accessibility of information at fingertips, the responsibility of engineering colleges has changed tremendously. Educational institutions no longer merely serve to provide information, and that is where we have had an opportunity to extend our responsibility from information transmission to shaping, directing, and developing young minds. We no longer strive to just transmit information from the faculty to the students. Instead of that, we have been trying to shape, direct, and develop young minds, thereby making them industry ready when they pass out of the college. Not only industry ready, we also inculcate the abilities of students to become entrepreneurs. And some of our students have taken up successful ventures, and they do not depend on industry to recruit them. They themselves get recruited and hire other people instead. The second thing that we have been doing is realize the importance of the teacher's role in effective education. As Bill Gates, the founder of Microsoft, once famously said, research shows that there is only half as much variation in student achievement between schools as there is among classrooms in the same school. If you want your child to get the best education possible, it is actually more important to get him assigned to a great teacher than to a great school. So we believe in the words of Bill Gates, who says the teacher is more important than the school. You might have the biggest of names for the school, but if you don't have quality teachers in the school, it is of no use, and the child will not be able to get quality education in that school or college which he is going to go to. So here is where IUCEE has helped us a lot through IIECP, which is going to be shown in the slides, subsequent slides, which is going to come up later. And we have realized the importance of the teacher, and we do a lot of development programs for the teachers so that they become more effective and they give effective education to the students that come here to study. So we have also been providing multifaceted learning to students through project activities and extracurricular activities. Technical education or technical knowledge is just one vertical for a professional engineering student. Apart from this, there are a lot of other things that the student has to do, and that is where our college has always been chipping in. The students of the college bring frequent laurels to the institute by performing exceedingly well in renowned competitions like SAE Baja and other championships across the country. Our college is home to a lot of clubs, which ranges from building ATVs, building solar cars, providing automated solutions, and building robots, which engage in innovative projects contributing to Industry 4.0 and many more. Industry 4.0 is one of the things that we have been trying to focus on, and all these ventures that the students take up and all these efforts of the students as well as the faculty have gone a long way in contributing to Industry 4.0. Industry 4.0 is one of the booming things that is happening out there, and we want to jump into the bandwagon and contribute to Industry 4.0. A lot of work is going on, and we have been trying to do quite a few from our side as well. We have also been be it faculty, be it the parents, be it the management, we all are efficiently connected, and we know where we stand and we know what are our responsibilities. And this is another thing that we have been doing so far. IUCEE has been helping us with quite a few things. To name a few, the first one is faculty development. As we said, faculty is very important in shaping the career of students, and therefore we have had a lot of emphasis on development of faculty. IUCEE does a lot of such programs, be it the conferences that IUCEE conducts, where a lot of knowledge sharing sessions happen. And there are a few courses that IUCEE offers to the faculty of its consortium members. We motivate our faculty. In fact, our management motivates all our faculty members to take up these courses. We are also a part of Virtual Academy, where a lot of webinars happen every week, and most of the faculty members take part in these webinars and learn a lot of things out of these, and thereby they improve their knowledge base, which is very crucial when it comes to taking it to the classroom and dealing with the students. The second thing that IUCEE has been helping us is with the student development. When the faculty are developed, they take the same learning to the students, and then they contribute to the learning of the students as well. So this again makes sure that the teaching learning process is taken care of. There are a lot of things that IUCEE offers separately to students, like Global Student Forum. We have been trying to be a part of it. It has not happened so far, but we will surely make sure that it is going to happen someday. Then curriculum development is another thing that IUCEE has been helping us with. There are a lot of innovative things that we need to bring into our curriculum. We, as you know, we are an affiliated institute. We have to abide by the syllabus provided by the university. Anyway, we have been trying to incorporate some of the innovative teaching methodologies that IUCEE has helped us with in the curriculum, and IUCEE has been constantly in touch with us to revamp our curriculum as well. Once we become autonomous, we will certainly get the freedom to do a lot of changes to the curriculum, and we seek IUCEE's help in this as well. Improving teaching technologies. There are a lot of innovative teaching technologies out there, which most of the teachers don't practice. If you practice it well, if you practice technologies like active learning, collaborative learning, bringing in technology to the classroom, it can contribute a lot to the amount of learning that the students can take out of your classroom. So this is another aspect where IUCEE has been helping us to a great extent, which is improving the teaching technologies. Inculcating engineer education research is another thing that IUCEE has pushed us into. Some of our faculty have taken up some work in the field of engineering education research, and they have been doing some work, and they have also published a couple of papers in reputed conferences and journals. And a lot of work is happening in this field of engineering education research. It is a popular thing that is going around in the world, but in India, not much of work is being done in this aspect. And this is where we have been trying to seek IUCEE's help in order to be better at. Then raising the quality of engineering graduates. If you do the first 5 things rigorously or religiously, you will be certain that the quality of engineering graduates graduating out of your college is very high. And again, IUCEE has been helping us in this as well. We are a part of certain things that IUCEE offers. There are a lot of IUCEE initiatives, and we have been fortunate to be a part of most of them. The first one is being the IUCEE consortium member. So there are a lot of advantages of being the member of IUCEE consortium. We have been a part of consortium since the year 2015. And due to the fact that we are consortium members, we get a lot of benefits which non-consortium members do not get. The primary objective of being a consortium members is to assist the colleges in improving the quality of engineering graduates. And that is what you can see over the past 4-5 years since we have been associated with IUCEE to a great extent. We have been able to transform our the quality of engineering graduates passing out of our college. IUCEE works with the institutional leadership, our management. It has been closely working with our management over the years, and also the faculty, to understand the strategic plan for the institution and facilitate the transformation of the process of engineering education at our college. So being the consortium member has a lot of advantages, and some of them were just explained to you just a while ago. And it also has helped us to build contact, global contacts, to say the least. And we have there are a lot of industry experts, there are a lot of academic experts in IUCEE. By being the consortium members, we get the contacts of most of them, and we can collaborate and do a lot of things in the field of engineer education, as well as in our own technical domains. The second thing that we are a part of is IUCEE's International Engineering Educator Certification Program, IIEECP. We have been talking a lot about IIEECP, and this is what we have done so far, being a part of IIEECP. Through IIEECP, we have started transformation of a teacher from a teacher to an educator. Now the teachers no longer play just the role of being the teacher, they are more of educators. And as it is said in the quotes, teaching is a skill which needs to be certified, and IIEECP does just that. It provides a platform where teaching is certified, thereby transforming you from a teacher to an educator. IIEECP is a 3-phase program which happens in a blended mode, starting from phase 1, where there will be some face-to-face sessions and discussions, where one of IUCEE's experts come to your campus and does the phase 1 for you, which is face-to-face. Then there is asynchronous online modules coupled with the regular synchronous online sessions, which is phase 2, where a lot of online meetings happen, a lot of webinars take place, followed by a lot of work to be done as a part of assignments. That is phase 2. And in phase 3, we will have to compile a teaching portfolio and present it before the jury from IUCEE to be awarded the IIEECP. The certificate has to be awarded. You will have to complete these 3 phases. And at SJEC, 28 faculty are internationally certified engineering educators already. They have already completed all the 3 phases of IIEECP, and they have already been certified as global engineering educators. As a matter of fact, yesterday when I was fine-tuning the presentation, I got a mail from Professor Krishna Vedula saying that we have even been qualified for IGIP certification. So with this, our IICP certified facilitators or educators are even eligible to apply for IGIP certification, which is another feather in the cap of all these facilitators who have completed IICP. I certainly has received an email from Professor Krishna Vedula. I expect most of the other people who have applied for IGIP also to have got this email. And during phase 2 or in phase 2, 35 faculty have completed phase 2 from our college, and 32 faculty are currently in phase 1. So altogether we have around 90 faculty who are going to complete IICP very soon. Through IICP, we have been able to improve the teaching learning process in the classroom. So IICP teaches you a lot of things, and one of the fundamental things that it teaches is how to improve the teaching learning process. So a lot of new methodologies or new pedagogies have been taught, which result in the learning process being facilitated. The students no longer become passive members in the classroom. They also play an active role, and they take part in all the discussions and deliberations, thereby learning better and learning for the good. The second thing that we have been able to achieve through IICP is learn the intricacies of course design. We have already been NBA accredited for 3 cycles. The first cycle happened even before the association with the IUCEE, but over the years with IUCEE, we have learned a lot of things which has helped us to implement OBE better, which was again discussed in one of our earlier webinars as a part of this webinar series. I'm not going to go there to discuss about the OBE implementation, but course design intricacies have been learned well through IICP. Whoever has undergone IICP are in a better position to understand how course design works and how exactly it has to be done. Another thing that has happened through IICP is turning the classroom into a dynamic place where students take active part, and the teacher's scope is just to become a facilitator. The teacher has to just help the students learn, and most of the learning happens by students themselves. They get into peer discussions, they get into active learning, they get into collaborative learning, and they learn most of the things. The teacher has to just facilitate this process, and that is where the classroom becomes a dynamic place rather than a passive place where the teacher is just going on lecturing and the students are forced to listen to it. Another thing that we have been able to do through IICP is bring in technology to the classroom wherever possible. Wherever it is possible, we have tried to bring in technology in the form of flipping the classroom or making use of ICT and all the other aspects. We have been able to do it quite well, and there are a lot of other things that we can still do. We are trying to be better at it. Another thing is making the students learn collaboratively. Collaborative learning is one aspect that we have learned well through IICP. When the students collaborate over a long period of time and come up with the solutions, they tend to learn better, and these learnings tend to remain with them for their lifetime. So collaborative learning is another thing that has been a byproduct of IICP. And effective assessment methods is another thing that we have introduced through IICP, where for each and every assessment that we do, we make sure that the assessment has been evaluated well, and we prepare a rubric and make it available to the students, so the students know what is to be what is the expectation of the teacher, and what the teacher wants the students to answer in the exam. That's why the students have been able to take it well, and the assessments have been very effective since the implementation of all these things that we have learned through IICP. And by virtue of all the above, we are able to practice OBE more rigorously in the college, is what I would like to say about IICP. Then our participation in virtual academy. Virtual academy is another thing that our college is a part of. Our faculty members are actively involved in the academy. Every week, there will be at least 3 to 4 webinars that are broadcast as part of the virtual academy. If you miss the webinar, there is no problem. The recordings are also made available. But if you take part live in the webinars, it is even more helpful. So our faculty members regularly take part in all these webinars that happen through the academy. Most of the webinars are attended by our teachers, and if they do miss out on some webinars, they always go back to the recordings and listen to them again. Some of the webinars are screened at our teleconferencing facility, where all the teachers come together and attend some interesting webinars and take part in the discussions that happen during the webinar or soon after the webinar at our teleconferencing facility. And we are very happy that some of the faculty members have even delivered webinars as a part of Virtual Academy. Some of the papers that have been presented in previous ICT-IEs have been presented as a part of Virtual Academy, and IUCEE has been encouraging us to do a lot of presentations virtually. We are also part of JEET, which is the Journal of Engineering Education Transformations. We have a subscription to the journal. Our library has a copy of JEET, which is freely available to everyone in the college. Our teachers contribute to the journal by reviewing papers submitted to JEET. Some of the papers that are submitted to JEET come to our faculty for review, and the faculty have been contributing by reviewing papers submitted to the journal. There is a process to be followed, which is followed by some of the faculty, and they have been contributing to the journal as well. And some of our teachers have published articles in JEET as well. Now we are happy that JEET is a Scopus Index journal, which has got more value than before. It has always been a go-to journal for anything to do with engineering education research in this region. But being a Scopus Index journal, its value has grown manifolds. At the Leadership Summit, our management team takes part in the Leadership Summit that happens annually in Goa. Since 2017, our leadership team has been taking part in the Leadership Summit. So far, IUCEE has conducted 3 Leadership Summits, and we have been fortunate enough to be a part of all 3 of them. Then involvement in IUCEE clusters. IUCEE has come up with a new initiative, which is IUCEE Cluster for Collaborations. We have been a part of all IUCEE clusters since their inception. It was started last year after the Leadership Summit. It was decided that we should have some clusters for collaboration. There are 10 clusters in all, and we have been very active in almost all the clusters that are active indeed. There are 7 clusters which are doing quite well, and there are 3 clusters which need a little more attention too. But whichever clusters are very active and very engaging, our faculty and leaders from the institution have been a part of it and have been contributing to the discussions over there. Each cluster is being represented by a faculty leader with other teachers as members. So we have designated one faculty to lead the cluster and other teachers as members. The faculty who is designated as a leader participates in periodic webinars and takes part in the deliberations with the rest of the IUCEE cluster heads. So by participating in these periodic webinars, which happen bi-weekly or once in a month, we get to gain a lot of information about what is happening around the world. And we tend to take a lot of learning from that, and we try to implement it. Whatever learnings we have had through these webinars or these meetings that happen over the clusters, we try to take it back to the college and try to practice it here. So these are one of the best practices that we have been following in our college. Then the new thing that we have started recently is SJEC Teaching Learning Center, TLC. We have named it Sanjosh, which is a combination of St. Joseph Engineering College and the Josh that it displays, the Josh that St. Joseph Engineering College portrays. So we call it Sanjosh. It was inaugurated by Dr. Veena Kumar during her visit to our college. She had been here as a facilitator for phase 1 of IIECP early this year, and she inaugurated this TLC during her visit. Through TLC, already we have organized a 5-day boot camp on active learning strategies for all faculty of the college. This initiative was taken in the month of July. We had a 5-day training program or a faculty development program as a part of the boot camp for all the faculty of the college, where whatever we learned through IICP was taken to the rest of the faculty members, and they were very impressed, to say the least. So they wanted to know a lot more about these things that are followed in IICP and their active learning strategies, due to which we are planning to host a faculty conclave in the month of January next year. So it is just 1 month away. We have planned for a faculty conclave as well as a part of our TLC, which is Sanjosh. This is one of the recent initiatives that we have taken. It has been just barely 6 months old, but already a lot of planning and activities have been planned by this TLC. Events by Sanjosh, some pictures. TLC was inaugurated by Dr. Veena Kumar during her visit to our college. And the next picture is about the boot camp on active learning, which is in progress. One of the resource persons is talking to the participants during the boot camp. Here is a moment to savor. SJEC was recognized as a transformational leader in engineering education by IUCEE for the year 2017. This was a matter of great joy and happiness to us when we received this award in Madurai during ICT-IE 2018. We have been very happy that we have been recognized by IUCEE as a transformational leader in whatever initiatives that IUCEE takes up. So this has been one moment that we would like to cherish for the rest of our lives. IUCEE global experts at SJEC. All these things have happened over the past 18 months or so. From the time Dr. Archana Mantri visited. Dr. Archana Mantri is a Pro Vice Chancellor of Chitkara University, Punjab. She was here for one of the phase ones of IICP. Then we had Dr. Veena Kumar visiting our college, who is Executive Director of IICP. She was also here as a part of facilitator for IICP phase 1. Then we had the visit of Dr. Krishna Medula himself, Executive Director of IUCEE, who was here to interact with our management, our faculty members, and to discuss some of the crucial aspects of our collaboration with IUCEE. And then we had Dr. Soham Sohoni, who was also here as a part of IICP phase 1 in the month of August. So starting from March last year, we have had 4 IUCEE global experts at SJEC. We are awaiting the arrival of Dr. Pratibha Nagabhushan, who will be coming very soon. And we will also have Dr. Claire Comives visiting our campus for one of the programs in the college. So we have been fortunate enough that we have had 3 phase 1s of IICP, and we have had the stalwarts of IUCEE visiting our college to lead us into phase 1 of IICP. It started with Dr. Archana Mantri, then we had Dr. Veena Kumar, and we had Dr. Soham Sohoni for the last phase 1. Then we have also been participating in IUCEE initiatives. Some of them include ICT-IE, which is IUCEE's annual conference. We have been a part of 5 conferences so far, starting from ICT-IE 2016, 2017, 2018. Then there was AP-ICT-IE in 2018 and ICT-IE 2019. And contingent of 13 faculty members from our college will be there at ICT-IE 2020 at Hyderabad as well. And to add to it, we also participated in WEEF, which happened just last month in Chennai, which was again one of the conferences that was held in association with the IUCEE. Courses offered by IUCEE, our faculty members have taken up IUCEE EER course, which is Engineering Education Research course. 11 of our faculty members have taken up the course, and our management has been generous enough to contribute and to sponsor some amount of the fee for this program, and that's why around 11 faculty have been enrolled for this program. That is the maximum among all the faculty members of other colleges. So far we have already completed a lot of modules in this course, and it is going to culminate soon in the month of March or April next year. And our faculty have also taken part in IUCEE OBE course, which was done in association with KLE back in 2017. 5 of our faculty members had taken up that course. And there was another mini course on publishing and reviewing papers in engineering education, which was also taken up by some of our faculty members. These are some of the initiatives that IUCEE has offered to SJEC, and we have taken part in almost all of them. Again, some pictures. Team SJEC at IUCEE events during ICTIE 2019 at Chitkara University, at WEEF 2019 in Chennai. Then we have a photograph with Dr. Hans Sauer, Secretary General of IFES, that again was taken during WEEF 2019. We have also featured in IUCEE newsletter, the e-newsletter that was released by IUCEE in July-August 2019 had SJEC as the featured article. Dr. Sheetal Sohoni has compiled this article, and this was published in July-August 2019. This was also one of happy moments to all of us. And to continue from here and to discuss about immersive training at KLE Tech, I call upon Ms. Evita Coelho to take forward the presentation from here.
Good evening, everyone. I hope and I wish you're having a pleasant evening so far. So to add to what Professor Satyendra has already told, a team of about 15 members from St. Joseph Engineering College had visited KLE Tech, Hubli, in Jan of last year, that is early last year. So the visit to KLE Tech was an eye-opener to all of us. And there was a lot of new things that had been demonstrated there as to how the system, the engineering education system, needs a change, and so far how our students are just engineers by the certificate, and how exactly engineers should be. An engineer should be a problem solver. So this visit was an eye opener to us, and a few learnings that we just learned there. I mean, we just went as a team. We saw how things happen at KLE Tech, how they operate. Of course, it's an autonomous institution, and there are a lot of challenges, what we had to face, because we are still an affiliated institution. But in spite of that, in spite of being an affiliated institution, we have done our best from the generous support of our management and a dynamic faculty team. We are still doing our best to incorporate the best practices we have learned at KLE Tech. A few of the things that we learned at KLE Tech, something that was new to us was the engineering exploration and tinkering labs, where we saw students coming together, and wonderfully solving problems, providing solutions to problems that are, existing in the society, where they are truly, becoming engineers. They are taking problem statements that are existent in their local society, something that is relevant locally, and they come back together as a team, and they try to build mechanisms, they try to build prototypes, and they try to provide solutions to these problems. This was really an eye-opener for us, because we were not practicing it as when we were back in our college. So this was an eye-opener, and this is one of the best practices we learned from our observations at KLE Tech. We are happy to tell you that now at SJEC, at St. Joseph Engineering College, we have a fully functional engineering exploration and tinkering labs, which also allowed us to practice co-teaching, where our teachers from different disciplines come together and bring the subject expertise to the classroom. As we already know, engineering is no longer bound to the walls of one discipline. Engineering is all about interdisciplinary now. So we have facilitators, I would say, from different disciplines coming together and sharing their expert knowledge or domain knowledge with these students. So these students benefit from all the discipline domain knowledge right in the first year. So even we are already slowly implementing this, where we allow our students to go to villages adopted by our college to find what are the problems the local people face, and then come back to us with need statements and problem statements, and we at our college will give them the basics that they require to develop solutions, to build prototypes, use different kinds of mechanisms, and basic knowledge of all disciplines. And then they go work as a team and build solutions to existing real world local problems. So we have started to deal just with the local problems for now, this local societal problems that are existing. And we teach them the basic principles of engineering right in the first year. And they use these basic principles and come up with implementing very simple solutions to those problems. So in a way, we are already inculcating this essence of problem solving to our students, so that when they face a problem, usually what problems students faces, we as teachers give them the problem, and we also have our solution. We also give them a solution that this problem is solved this way. So in the real world, when they go out to the corporate or when they go to the industry and they are faced with problems, our students panic. They do not know how to handle problems, because so far the teacher gave them the problem, the teacher gave them the solution. Now this this engineering and engineering exploration and tinkering lab has made our students familiar with problems. They no longer fear problems. They are welcome to problems, because they know as engineers their basic task is to solve problems. So this is one of the learnings we had at KLE Tech. Other than this, we also were introduced to basic teaching pedagogies, where they taught us the need for learning. That is, a student will not learn unless he finds it is necessary to learn. So this was, brought to us in form of problem-based learning, project-based learning, and so on, which was further strengthened by the course, the immersive course, the training course we took up at IUCEE, the Engineering Education Certification Program, in which we were required to actually implement these active learning, these teaching strategies. So KLE Tech was the initial, step, an eye-opener, but the actual implementation of all the things we observed at KLE Tech, IUCEE played a big role, a major role for us to transform from a teacher to an educator to a facilitator. Another thing we learned at KLE Tech was how to tackle difficult concepts or critical concepts. How do we identify critical concept? What is the rationale for a concept to be treated as a difficult or a critical concept? What are the different pedagogies we can apply to train students or to make them understand these difficult concepts, not in a very traditional way, but in a way where they can visualize problems, in a way where, they grow an open mind or learning solutions in a mechanical way. So all these things have helped us faculty members grow along with our students, and we are on our way of transforming from being a teacher to an educator to a facilitator. Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Evita. These guys, after coming back from KLE Tech, after the immersive program that they had at KLE Tech, they came back and conducted a workshop on course design and management for all the faculty of St. Joseph Engineering College. So whatever learning they have had at KLE Tech, it was imparted to all the other faculty as well through this immersive training program at SJEC on course design and management. Whatever concepts they learned there were taken to all the faculty of our college, which is one of the best things that happen in this college. What we have been able to achieve so far is strengthen our relationship with the local community. As Ms. Evita was saying, that we have been trying to get in touch with the local community to solve their problems. We have adopted several villages already. Our plan was to adopt 5 villages, but the team from SJEC went to some panchayats and adopted 5 panchayats, and each panchayat has nearly 5 to 6 villages. So we have more than 20 villages adopted already, and we are trying to work with them and try to find out their problems and find a solution for all these problems. Established the Teaching Learning Center, which has happened recently, to assist faculty contribute to the engineering education ecosystem, and initiate tinkering and engineering exploration labs for first-year students, which is one of the things that our team observed at KLE Tech, immediately came back and we implemented here as a part of our curriculum as well. Our future plans is to attain autonomy. If everything goes well, very soon we should have the autonomous status. We are planning to create a state-of-the-art knowledge center, which will help all the faculty to come together, share their knowledge and share the best practices, and take it to the respective classrooms and share it with their students. Join IUCEE EPICS program and improve our community-based engagement. So this is another thing that we want to take up. We want to take up IUCEE Epics, which we have not been a part of. We want to take up this program as well. But there are some issues like lack of connect with the local community, convincing local leaders. All these problems are there. In spite of that, we are trying to overcome these things and try to join Epics program with great rigor and motivation. We want to start Engineers Without Borders EWB chapter, and by doing this, we will be able to achieve a lot of things. And the ECB, the EWC, the EWB can assist in setting up local chapter here, and Epics can help with community engagement. This is our plans for the future. And we also plan conduction of numerous activities under the banner of TLC. Already boot camp has been conducted, and we are planning to have a conclave in the near future, and provide a dedicated space for TLC with the basic amenities, so that all the teachers can come together and have the discussions done at a dedicated place, and strengthen activities under tinkering and engineering exploration labs, for which we are seeking IUCEE's help in terms of connecting with partners such as MathWorks and NI and Dassault Systems, which will help us strengthen our activities under tinkering and engineering exploration. So these are the few things that we wanted to put in front of you as a part of today's webinar. We end here. We thank all of you for being a part of this webinar today, and we are open for questions, if any.
Wonderful, wonderful. Satyendra and Evita, you've done such a fantastic job. Really proud of you guys. And in particular, I just want to point out that to all people who are here, you've got many, more than 30 people listening to us, and some of them are consortium members, some of them are not. So I think this has given them a good opportunity to see what an institution can do by being closely associated with IUCEE. I think I'm really impressed that, in particular in your institution, that what has emerged over the past 2 years, particularly, is that many of your faculty, you, Evita, and many others have emerged as leaders. So it's not just one person, the principal, but now you have a team of 10, 20 people who are jumping up and down and making good things happen. That's really what it takes, because you can't just depend on 1 or 2 people to do everything. So this is fantastic. So let me open it up for any comments, suggestions that people have. Please jump in and ask your questions, because this is what our objective is, that faculty and leaders from institutions around the country hear about these kinds of best practices, and through such webinars they say, oh, I can do that too, maybe I can learn something from this, or maybe somebody else can learn something from what we do. So let's see what's happening with the questions here. Prashant Revankar, actually he's from KLE Tech, so he has asked a question. Can you talk a little bit about the challenges faced in switching from the traditional teaching and learning to a OBE type of environment? So what challenges did you face when you went through that process?
Okay. Firstly, the most challenging part was for us as faculty members to, accept that what we are doing is not enough, and for us to first make the transition. And yeah, some of the times, even students, since they are, in this traditional part of education, right from their kindergarten till their pre-university education, it becomes very difficult for students also to suddenly adapt to this change. So teachers have been literally spoon-feeding students right from the time they were little kids. So for us to put the responsibility of learning on the students, and for them to understand that and accept that, is a little challenging even now. So we are slowly, transitioning and working on this. So this was one of the most important challenges, the most difficult things we had to do. First, accept it ourselves that we need to change, and then slowly get it to the classroom.
Fantastic. I love that phrase, accepting that we need to change. I think many times that is the biggest problem, because people assume that nothing needs to be, no need to change, and so life goes on as usual. And I think the fact that you realize, and most of your faculty realize, that the need for change, and therefore once you have that motivation, then you look around and say, okay, what can I do to improve what I'm doing? Fantastic. Go ahead, Satyendra, you were about to say something?
No, I think whatever I had to say, Ms. Evita has already told. Yeah,
very well. Okay.
So there is nothing much to add here.
Okay, then we have Nagapavan has an interesting question. He says, how do you let's see, how can you distinguish between a student who has pursued a part of an NBA accredited program versus one that is not? How do you identify whether the student has gone through an NBA accredited program? Do you think there's a difference, the student that goes to NBA accredited program versus the one that does not? Because I know you have a lot of other colleges in your region that are not NBA accredited. So what differences do you find in your students compared to the ones in other colleges that are not?
Yeah, NBA accreditation is one thing which we have stressed a lot on, and whatever we do as a part of NBA accreditation and the process has rubbed off on the students. If you compare our students with the rest of the students in this region, there is a marked difference between the output that we produce. The quality and the teaching learning process that we follow here do make sure that the students who are coming out of our college are more industry ready, and they also have the entrepreneurial skills that is required in order to make them job providers in the market. So these are a couple of things that we have been doing, and we also explain it to students what is the importance of this NBA process. So the students are well versed with this entire process. Whatever we do, the innovative teaching learning methodologies that we follow, the active learning that we follow, the collaborative learning that we follow, the technologies that we adopt, the rubrics that we provide, the students are well versed with all these things. So there is no confusion at all among the students as to what the college is expecting out of them. And that is the difference that we see between our students and the students of other colleges which are not accredited by NBA or any other statutory body.
Is there some formal way that you might have been able to document your improvement of students based on what you've got, your partnership with IUCEE and these kinds of activities? Is there something that that you have documented? Any assessment from the student surveys and things like that, and jobs and so on?
We document learning through surveys. Like we take up surveys as to, what was for example, if I take up active learning strategies like say flipped classroom. So we take up a pre-survey with the students as to are they familiar with flipped classroom learning, and we ask them to rate how familiar they are, and then we take a post-survey once we have covered a concept or taught a concept using flipped class model, and then the students indicate the difference of learning, the how easily they were able to learn, or also what are the challenges they faced when they learned using a flipped classroom. So this is what we have basically started with. Also, we document the degree of learning. So for us, the degree of learning here is only in terms of their grades. There is no other way we can actually see the assessment. So we have definitely seen an improvement in their grades for their internal assessment tests, maybe in forms of tests and quizzes and graded discussions and all that. So we see a more participating audience. They are not just a passive students in the class, but they're more participative, and this also encouraged them to ask questions which improve the quality and participation in peer discussions and so on. So this is the way we have documented it so far.
How about employers? Have you been able to get some feedback from employers the last few years?
Yes, we have been. Whichever companies come here for campus recruitment, we have kept close contact with them, and whoever is recruited from the college, we monitor their progress in the company. We get formal feedback from the recruiters when they're here, and once they go back and start working in the industry also, we get formal feedback from them. That is about campus recruitment. Otherwise also, whichever students or whichever alumni is working in the industry, we keep in touch with their employers and try to get a feedback from the employers regarding the progress done by these alumni in the industry.
Our alumni are also our brand ambassadors, as Professor Satyendra already mentioned. So we also have our employers coming back to us because of the quality of students that they have working for them. So just to add to that.
That's great. So and again, as over the years, you probably will collect more of that information. So keep your eye open for mapping some of these results in terms of employability and startups and innovation and so on, and employer satisfaction, and map it to some of the changes that you are incorporating in your own program. So that'll be over the years to keep track.
That suggestion.
Yeah. Which tier NBA accreditation are you? This, I think it's some different tiers, right? This is what, tier 2 NBA accreditation.
Tier 2, yeah, tier 2, sir, right.
That's affiliated, I think that's tier 2. Okay,
Yes.
that's what kind of, that's, I think that pretty much winds us up. Actually, we're out of time. So thank you so much, Satyendra and Evita. This has been a fantastic discussion and presentation and discussion. And Jai Ho.
Thank you so much, sir. Jai Ho.